Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the National Exchange Club, it is a sincere pleasure to welcome you to the 2018 Court of Honor Induction Ceremony. We are pleased you are here with us on this special occasion to honor 7 very dedicated Exchange Club members. At this time, Steve Douglas will offer the invocation, and Charlie Braddock will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all of the challenges and opportunities that it presents. Father, we are so grateful for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us as individuals and as a nation. We ask that you keep our military men and women and our first responders safe. Please keep them out of harm's way whenever possible. We are gathered here today to honor and recognize the best of our organization. We ask your blessing upon them and all those gathered. May they all return home safely. And all God's people say, Amen.
Amen. Please join me by placing your hand over your heart as we salute our country and our great flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve and Charlie. The Court of Honor, formed by 3 wings of the National Headquarters Building and the granite pylons at the open end, was designed to be a serene and tranquil place of honor. Renowned artist Marshall Frederick created the inspiring cast aluminum statue which graces the fountain that was installed in the summer of 1957. The figure, titled Birth of the Atomic Age, represents man reaching toward peaceful uses of the atom's energy in the then dawning atomic age. The pylons stand outside this evening as they have stood for more than 60 years, waiting to accept the names of those exchange leaders who represent the very best in the tradition of unity for service. This ideal motivated the individuals we have gathered to honor today. I'm very honored to introduce Exchange's National President, Scott Warren, who will begin our introduction of today's inductees. Scott?
Thank you, Tracy, and good afternoon. As Exchange's National President, it is an honor for me to be a part of the induction ceremony. The Court of Honor was originally established to provide a place where permanent tribute would be paid to exemplary leaders of Exchange. I'm sure that in the audience today there are individuals among us whose names will be added to these walls one day. This is certainly a goal to which many Exchange Club members aspire. To quote past National President Myers Cooper, many fine men and women who have been builders in the National Exchange Club, serving as our great leaders, are still living. Others have finished their course. The Court of Honor, with all its quiet beauty, offers the opportunity to have their names imperishably inscribed upon its granite pylons and their histories displayed in testimony of greatness. Today, it is our honor to recognize the following outstanding individuals: Arvil Buddy Leo A. Coach Jr., posthumously, Daniel S. McQueenie, Paul D. McShane, Brenda G. Robinson, Kathleen Katie Smith, Howard R. Tinsley Sr., and Don Wright. Inductees will receive a Court of Honor statue designed especially for this occasion, as well as a Court of Honor pin, which I know will be worn with great pride. Tracy?
Thank you, Scott. Our presenters will now provide a brief introduction of each honoree. To begin, our first honoree, Arvil Buddy Leo A. Coach Jr., will be recognized by his son-in-law, Brian Smith.
Thank you, Tracy. It's my honor today to recognize my father-in-law, Buddy A. Coach, as his name is now etched on the granite pylon in the Court of Honor outside. Special thank you, first of all, to the National Exchange headquarters. They've been so instrumental in assisting our family and creating this great event for us here today. I'd like to also recognize my mother-in-law, Lois, my wife, Dusty, and Buddy and Lois's niece, Tammy, who all made the trip up. We also have several friends, buddies who came up from Fort Smith, Cindy Long and Tommy Fowler. The Mid-America District President, Rachel Stoddard Morris, is here, and Region 5 Vice President, Susan Swartz. So we say a special thank you to those individuals making the trip up today to recognize Buddy. For those who know Buddy, he was a man of service. He lived his life in service to God, his family, and his country. And he was a true embodiment of Exchange mission. He joined Exchange in 2001 when he was invited to talk to the Noon Exchange Club of Fort Smith, Arkansas on behalf of the Transportation Safeguard Division with the Department of Energy. After hearing Exchange's core value of family, commitment, and community and country, Buddy knew that was something that he wanted to get involved with. Following extraordinary careers in the military and law enforcement, he devoted his retirement years to giving back to the community. Buddy revitalized many projects in Fort Smith and the New Exchange Club, including Americanism programs with the dedication and rededication of freedom shrines throughout the community. He brought to the forefront military and Veterans Day appreciation and recognition ceremonies in Fort Smith. Buddy was very instrumental in bringing child abuse awareness front and center in Fort Smith community. He began the tradition of lighting the downtown Fort Smith historic Ferris wheel in blue for Child Awareness Month. All those light bulbs, and there was hundreds of them, had to be changed out, and Buddy would take a team of men down there and they would work for hours changing those light bulbs out on this huge Ferris wheel to recognize child abuse, and that was it. That was pretty cool. His perseverance and dedication efforts guided the local Hamilton House Child Safety Center to become an Exchange Club Parent Aid Center in Fort Smith. Buddy served in numerous offices at the club and district levels. He was the district president of Mid-America District in 2012 to 2013. He was an outstanding leader and an excellent recruiter and mentor. Mid-America past district president Cindy Long probably identified her good friend best when she said he was a very humble man. Never won the recognition. Never once did he talk about the medals he received from military, the leadership roles he held, or all the work he did for Arkansas State Police. And definitely not the accolades he received through a lifetime of work and service. It wasn't until his funeral in January that we all realized what a truly outstanding man we had in our midst. He was a man of strong presence, of compassion and fairness, leadership and strength. He was a man who made others better for knowing him and spent time with him. It's been a tough year on our family. But for those who knew Buddy, you know he would hate every bit of this. I'm pretty sure that the rain and sleet we had coming over here was him saying, "Don't do this." He would be honored because this group meant a lot to him. It was his soul. And we had such a great time. Matter of fact, he brought me a filled out application with all my information on it. It said, "You're a member of Exchange." And I had never heard of the group. And from that point forward, it's all we talked about. I apologize for still pretty tough. But once again, thank you for those who made the trip. Thank you for all the people who have stopped and told us how special Buddy was to your life. So at this time, please join me in recognizing Buddy A. Coach for his induction into the Court of Honor.
At this time, we'd ask Buddy's family to come up to please accept his Court of Honor pin and statuette from National President Scott Warren. And if you would like to join as well. At this time, Elizabeth Grantham will recognize honoree Daniel S. McQueenie. Elizabeth?
Wow, I don't even know where to start telling you what an honor it is to introduce Danny. You all know him as the past national president in VFR, but his story in the exchange started over 25 years ago when he retired from the United States Air Force and moved back to Charleston. He first joined Rotary, but soon found the Charleston Exchange Club and its spirit of service to self. He also is a member of the James Island and Citadel Exchange Clubs. Dan is retired from Merrill Lynch, so he's had 2 careers, and he was a senior consultant at Merrill Lynch. I'd like to also recognize Caroline, his beautiful wife, and his son Chip, who are here today, as well as all of our South Carolina delegation, Cheryl Bidwell, Mark Feldman, and our RVP, Barney Knighton. Danny received a bachelor's degree in business administration from the Citadel and an MBA from Armstrong University. Dan is a dedicated and passionate exchangeite. He is a special and unique person that really gets it. Our friend and past South Carolina District President Fred Whittle said of Danny, "In my opinion, few exchangites have dedicated as much energy to understanding the country's fundamental need for service clubs like Exchange. Exchange's special programs, details, purpose, its education and training system, its organizational structure for governance and execution, and the willingness to pay the price of dedicated volunteer participation and meaningful work." That's Dan McQueenie. I first met Danny in the early 2000s at a healing field that our district hosted. His organizational skills made it a field to remember. Later, while at a Citadel football tailgate, which is another love besides Caroline and his family, he asked if he could be my district president-elect. Talk about district minimum standards. Dan was ahead of the curve. We had our 3-year succession plan in place. Dan and I have worked as a team since that time, and he is still our mentor, teammate in club building, friend, and an inspiring servant leader. Dan lives exchange in every aspect of his life, and his spread of passion for exchange throughout our clubs, our district, and our national organization. He is an exemplary leader who has embraced the goals to build clubs and grow exchange. He motivates individuals to follow in his footsteps and do their very best for exchange. Dan and Caroline reside in Charleston. He has a son, Daniel Chip McQueenie, who's married to Morgan. He has a daughter, Megan Hatfield, married to Corey, and a stepson, Russell, who's married to Rebecca. And they have 3 beautiful granddaughters, Bailey, Turner, and Claire. I cannot think of anyone from Charleston that deserves to be in the National Exchange Club's Court of Honor more than my friend and fellow exchangeite, Dan McQueenie. Danny, I'm proud and honored to present you to join the Court of Honor. You're deserving, you lead by example, and you are Mr. Exchangeite. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel S. McQueenie.
I just want to say a few words about my journey in exchange and why it's so important to me. And I first of all want to thank Elizabeth for such a great introduction. For those of you who don't know, Elizabeth is my exchange wife. We do a lot together. We followed each other all the way through exchange and really grown close. So thank you, Elizabeth. It's not about me. It's about us. Organization, teamwork, results. That's what we call Exchange Strong. We have such an outstanding national staff led by Tracy. Thank you for all the support that you give us to make us successful out in the field. In 2015-16, our national board was outstanding. We had 5 so far that have run for higher office, and one I understand, Susan, that might run for higher office. So 6 out of 11, that's pretty good. That means that we're headed in the right direction. I need to put on my glasses here. There are 3 classes of district presidents that I'd like to talk about right now. The first one is the Cobra Corps. For those of us who were in Cobra Corps, Dennis, Susan, Denise, and Floyd. Where's Floyd? There's Floyd. 2008, 10 years ago this time, we came here to learn how to be district presidents. And we were taught how to be district presidents by none other than Russ Finney and Katie. Where's Katie? They taught us how to be prepared for anything. So we went home and the greatest recession hit since the Great Depression. We weren't growing exchange. We didn't have membership expansion. We had membership contraction like you wouldn't believe. We had to form funds to keep people in exchange because they were losing their jobs and couldn't afford to pay their dues. But we held it together, and we didn't even have Tracy. That spot was vacant, and Floyd did that job also. So 2008, 2009, it was a critical time for exchange. To those of us who were there, we all felt like failures, but it was probably the best thing we could have done to make us better exchange-ites. Then I go to the 104th Lightning Squadron. Yep. The 104th was my class. Of that class, so far, 4 have been on the national board. 1 is going to be running next year for the national board. We've had 2 run for national president-elect. That's a class of leadership. And I'd like to recognize them. Cindy, Thunder Long. We go by call signs. Cindy's call sign is Thunder. Mary Buckeye Borer, is she here? John Hollywood Blythe in the back. Barney, Dog Knighton, Barney. Bill Maverick Solder. And Dawn Where's Don? Stretch. Portland. We made such a difference 3 years ago with our class, and I'm just so proud of every one of them. And I would like to take that opportunity to challenge the class this year to try to just come close to what we did 3 years ago. If you can, your president, Scott here, will be so proud, and I know he is already, but he will be so much more proud when you finish your term as district president. I'd like to thank the Exchange Club of Charleston, my club. They're the ones who nominated me for this award, especially Gasper Marino, then president. I'd like to recognize my son Chip. Chip has been involved with Exchange since 2002. He joined when he finished college. He's been the secretary and the president of the largest club in the land. Chip, I'm so proud of you. Now my best teammate, I could ever have. I met Caroline when I was 6 years old. I danced with her when I was 8 years old. It was so bad, it took 45 years for her to marry me. But she did. And I am so lucky and so happy that she did say yes. She supported me. She's been my partner and my friend. Thank you, Caroline. For everyone else, all I ask that you stay Exchange strong. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Dan Viper McQueenie. At this time, Bill Muma will recognize our honoree, Paul D. McShane. Hi, Bill.
You all know Gail takes such good care of us. She prepared some words, and so did I. So I'm going to jump back and forth, so bear with me if you would. I am honored today to recognize Paul Dennis McShane, as his name is now etched on the granite pylon in the Court of Honor. I first met Paul at Kadena Air Force Base, Okinawa, Japan. The SR-71 program was closing down, and Paul came over to my squadron to complete his tour of duty. Paul retired about a year later and went back to Michigan to be with his ailing mother. And I must say it was also my honor to officiate at Paul's retirement, where he received the Meritorious Service Medal for 21 years of service. About a year later after that, I retired and returned to Niceville, Florida. I soon had a job at the Armament Division at Eglin Air Force Base and had already joined the Niceville Exchange Club. I was surprised one morning when who walks into my office but Paul McShane. I soon had him as a member of the Niceville Exchange Club. He says he joined because of the Americanism programs Exchange has, but he soon became enamored of all the Exchange programs. Paul rapidly climbed the Exchange leadership ladder and served as the Florida District President under National President Steve Douglas, where he was a distinguished district president, and also under President Kim Hodges. Paul served on the National Board from 2009 to 2012 and has received a National President's Award, Par of Exchange President's Award, and twice received the MVP award, Presidential Award. Paul has built 2 conventional exchange clubs and has recruited some 77 members. He was also instrumental in bringing the third Child Abuse Prevention Center to Alabama in 2011. Paul's greatest contribution to Exchange is the optimism he projects for Exchange. Paul is not a half-glass person. Just like his military service, Paul does not do half of anything. It's gung-ho with Paul. After his loss for the national presidency in 2012, his only comment was how it must have been God's work, since his beautiful wife Elizabeth was diagnosed with multiple myeloma shortly thereafter. That positive outlook has served them both well, as Elizabeth is here today to see Paul receive this honor. Paul has two grown daughters, Erin and Kelly. Kelly just finished walking the Appalachian Trail. And I also got to say about Paul, and I put in his original package summation, the only dark thought that ever crosses Paul's mind is where's the light switch? So please join me at this time in congratulating Paul R.H. McShane for his induction into the Court of Honor.
Whew. Used to be about 5 pages. My wife says, no, you're not going to be up there for 5 pages. She knows me very well, so I've got the microphone. I think, I know it's kind of tight up there, but if you're a veteran or have served or currently serving in the armed forces, if you could please stand, and if you can't stand, raise your hand. All the veterans out there. We do what we do today because of what they have done and what the men and women who continue to do today. We have men and women who are on the battlefields as we speak today. No matter what your politics are, these men and women continue to serve so that we can continue to do the thing that we do today. And we need to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. At the latest 5th annual Field of Valor I did, the Gold Star families, there were many of them there, they turned to me and they said they don't reject the fact that they lost a loved one in combat in defense of this great nation. What they do say is that they just don't want to be forgotten. So we cannot forget them. So that's my point there. I can't tell you how humbled I am to be bestowed this honor among me today. As I look at that wall of past inductees, and I stand with this great class of exchange-ites, I want to say a heartfelt thank you. It's unbelievable. I don't know if I deserve to be on there, but it's too late. Tracy, I want to thank you first and foremost because I know that you knew that this was Notre Dame's off week, and thank you for scheduling the event this week so that we could have this too. So. To Bill, thank you for doing that. Bill and Janet Mumaw. And I want to thank Bill, Colonel Mumaw, for he came up to me one day and he said, Paul. And you know the reason he said that? Because that's my name. It's Paul. He says, Paul. I says, I've got this organization for you called Exchange. And I keep telling this story. He could probably see the look in my face. But, I always thought that Bill was a good fisherman, because he just wouldn't let it stop, Got young kids at the time. Just, life just goes on. Well, he didn't put a card in front of me, but it was pretty close. But, and he's absolutely correct. It was the Americanism portion that got me in Exchange. But what gets me off my feet every day is the 4 pillars that we do every single day that puts the boots on the ground, that continues to make our communities better places to live. So, to the 2 national presidents that I had the honor and privilege of being with, Steve Douglas and Kim Hodges, absolutely phenomenal leaders who continue to do great things for this exchange. And I want to say a thank you to all the national presidents that I've had the honor to serve with, including the ones up to now that I am so fortunate to have that leadership that steps up there. My godfather and my dad's twin brother is here today. My Uncle Vincent is here, Korean War era veteran. So thank you, Uncle Vincent, for being here today too. So. And he's got his son Tim, my cousin Tim, who came with me today. He's gonna work on him to become an exchange item in the very near future too. So, To my home club, Rick and Claire Miller are here to include Janet and Bill Mumaw. So thank you very much for all of you to make that trip here today. I'd like to take a special thank you. Is this like the Oscars a little bit here? To Dorothy Miller. Dorothy Miller was the first president that I had under my tutelage at the Niceville Exchange, and she did it right. Dorothy was the first person to get the Biggie Award for our club too. So please keep Dorothy in your thoughts and prayers, for she's struggling right now as we go. To the Florida District. So, who had the faith and trust in me to step up in there. So, when we were on there, I was the first Florida District President that did it for 2 years in a row. I think to say that we were struggling a little bit and needed some time to try and move things around. So I was the first of 3 Florida District Presidents who did it for 2 years. And I think hopefully we see the results of that. We continue to go as we go up there. And when I was the Florida District President, I want to thank Kathy Mize for being out there too, because we had to start our meetings at 6 o'clock every day. She would get up there, she'd go, "We're burning daylight, Paul," So we had to start our meetings very early there. How did I do there, Kathy? Good. So. And I want to thank all the other districts I had the honor and privilege of being with. All throughout the country, no matter if it was just visiting them or something to do with Exchange as we go forward. For as those districts go, we go in Exchange. So thank you very much. And to the national staff, absolutely phenomenal. To this day, you can pick up the telephone and talk to a human being. And what human beings they are. If I just had the opportunity, you know what? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I could work right here in the big HQ. You know what I mean? If I could work headquarters, I'd be in there. So, that mentioned my absolutely phenomenal family, my 2 drop-dead gorgeous, beautiful daughters, Erin and Kelly. I love them like there's no tomorrow. Family is so important. Family is what we do in Exchange. And I'd like to say, as you guys set bad precedent there. I told my wife that I would not say drop dead gorgeous beautiful, so scratch that right off the ground. Just say I didn't say it. So my beautiful bride, I am in great part in life because of that woman. She, through my 20-plus year Air Force career, as we traversed the world, raising those families, getting me to get to my degree. I mean, the list is endless of the things that she's done. She continues to be that rock for me as we press forward too. So, last, I want to thank all the current leaders at all levels that are in Exchange today. For you have stepped forward into the breach. We live in the greatest country on God's green earth, and you help make it so through Exchange. We need your leadership now more than ever. And I'm telling you now, I will continue to stand with you as you do those leadership responsibilities. God bless you, God bless Exchange, and God bless America.
At this time, 2000-2001 National President Gerald Franklin will recognize our honoree, Brenda Robinson. Gerald?
Didn't think I could get up here. Howdy. I'm kind of glad we're inside today. I know y'all rather be out, but my wife told me that I had to talk slow today because y'all might not understand me, but after listening to Elizabeth over here, I can't talk that slow, so you got a chance. I'm honored to be here today to recognize Brenda Robinson, whose name has also been added to the Court of Honor outside on the in the court. Brenda's here today with her wife. Evelyn made me practice before I got up here too. And only had one glass of wine. He's here with her daughter, Dawn Foreman, who we all know and love in Houston as well, for this special occasion. Brenda's a member of the Exchange Club of Sugarland, Texas, having joined there in April of 1992. Through the years, Brenda served in every office that there is at the club level and the district level, and has served at the national level, having served as a member of the National Board of Directors for 2 years, or two-year terms. Brenda's also a multiple club builder and has brought in over 25 new members to Exchange. In 2003, Brenda became a volunteer field representative, so she's done it all, continues to do it all, and we're awful proud of her. She served as a trustee of the National Exchange Club Foundation as well, and she is a Berkey Fellow and continues after her original donation to the Berkey Foundation to continue her Berkey membership. Brenda is known in the Houston area and around the country as well as someone who brought us the shaken baby syndrome, and has gone around to Houston area hospitals and exchange clubs in our district and taught people how to go out and discuss shaken baby and what to do about that. And we're awful proud of that as well. Brenda has been very involved in our local Escape Family Resource Center, serving both as a volunteer there and as well as a member of the board of directors. She's been involved in many other organizations as well beyond Exchange, having served as board member of the Richmond State School, the YMCA, the Champions Kids Camp, and the Fort Bend Regional Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. Brenda and her, I keep saying her wife, Bob, it's really good to see her. And her husband, Bob, live in Missouri City. Bob wishes he could be here today, but he's not able to be with us. Brenda is a person who always says yes. And when she says yes, you can count on her to do a wonderful job. And she's done that for years in the Texas Gulf Coast District. She is someone who I am proud to call a friend and who I'm proud to share a spot with out there in that courtyard. She's a great person, she's a great exchangeite, and she'll be a wonderful member of the Court of Honor. Brenda, we're proud of you, and we're pleased to add you as a member of our Court of Honor. Brenda Robinson.
Wow. Thank you, Gerald. When I joined the Sugarland Exchange Club, I joined because I was invited by a member of that club, a friend, very good friend. And I thought, these people get up at, have their meeting at 7 a.m. in the morning. Are they nuts? But I went, fell in love with it, joined at the next meeting. And before I knew it, 3 years later, I was club president. And then district president. It just kind of fell into place. I was home. I was doing what I loved doing. I volunteered, but I loved doing it, and it was never a problem. The only first problem I guess I ever had was when I became district president. Well, I had 3 past national presidents in my backyard. I was extremely happy when we finally got call identity on our phone. But one of the greatest memories for me, and one that sums up of how much Exchange means to me, was When I became district president, 3 months after I did, I found out that I had breast cancer and had to have surgery and chemotherapy. Well, my hair fell out, so I got a great wig, and everything went fine. It was wonderful. Our Allen Center Club made me what they call the district president's barf basket. It was very well decorated. I kid you not. I carried it wherever I went. But at our district convention at the end of my term, Dave Nershi and his wife were the national reps there. And we just worked well together and worked hard. It was hot. And so right before we were going to have the social hour, I said, I'm just going to run in and take a shower. So I did, had a great surprise, which I'll give to you in just a moment, and came back to the social hour, walked around, had fun, good hour, went in for dinner, sat at the head table, had 5 guests up there with me, Dave sitting next to me and his wife, and we were just conversing, had dinner for an hour. And then Dave Nershi got up and made his little speech, and he says, these exchange-ites really love you, Brenda. They have given you some strong support because you're right up there with an outstanding district. I said, thank you. And then I got up to do my speech, and I said, Dave, I want you to really know how much this group loves me. I says, we were socialized together. You have been sitting up here conversing with me for over an hour. And nobody noticed that my eyebrows had fallen off when I washed my face. I kid you not. Kid you not. And Dave looked, and he stood up, and he says, oh my God, they really are gone. So there you have it. And then to go on to be on the National Board of Directors and go through my area, oh my gosh, so many wonderful friends. And the opportunities and the warmth just grew and grew and grew. So I thank you all. It doesn't matter how hard you have to work or the time that it takes. It's the love and the appreciation of everything that you've done. And each and every one of you in this room today, I have met or worked with at one point. And this is an honor for each of you as well as me. Thank you.
At this time, National President Scott Warren will recognize our honoree, Kathleen Katie Smith. Scott?
I am honored today to recognize Kathleen Katie Smith, as her name is now etched on the granite pylon in this court of honor. I would like to recognize some special individuals who have accompanied Katie, her 4 nieces, Kay, Paula, Colleen, and Connie. There are also numerous members here from Region 3 today. Katie is a member of the Exchange Clubs of Owatonna and Moonlighters Owatonna, Minnesota. She joined Exchange 22 years ago in August 1996. During that time, Katie has held numerous leadership positions at the local, district, and national levels, including 2 terms on the National Board of Directors as Region 3 Vice President. She was appointed to the position of Volunteer Field Representative in 2003. Katie has sponsored, welcomed, and mentored nearly 40 new members into Exchange. She is a multiple new club builder, and she has led countless educational and orientation sessions all throughout Exchange. You can always rely on Katie to step up and make things happen. Her enthusiasm for exchange has no boundaries. She has earned countless awards exemplifying her passion, commitment, and dedication to exchange. Katie is also a generous supporter of the National Exchange Club Foundation and a Berkey Fellow. She has remained involved locally with the Exchange Center for Family Unity in Owatonna's fundraising events. Katie promotes exchange through numerous community activities, including guesting on a weekly local radio show, writing and directing a musical review for the local Music Boosters Club, and serving as artistic and technical director, choreographer, designer, and actor for her local community theater. Her stage and musical talents are embodied in her alter ego, Lena, who has truly served as an exchange ambassador throughout the country. Katie makes us smile. She represents the very best of exchange, and she has earned her recognition in our Court of Honor. So please join me at this time in congratulating Katie Smith for her induction into our Court of Honor. Katie.
Well, is this just not the best day ever? Wow! Where do I begin? Everybody came up here with these great speeches, and I have this little note thing here. First of all, yeah, really, wow. What can I say? I am absolutely overwhelmed that I haven't even been even remotely considered for this honor. But more so, I'm even greatly humbled, because when I go throughout the nation working with exchange-ites, there are hundreds and hundreds of exchange-ites that have done way more than me and so deserve this honor, a lot more than me, I tell you. But I want to take this time to thank everybody for even thinking about recognizing me. Because, like I said, you know, when we do a training, we always say aspire to the position, don't aspire to the title. And I never aspired to this. In fact, I didn't think I'd ever make regional vice president because I didn't even aspire to that. But it's like Brenda said, it just happened. And it doesn't happen alone. And I will tell you, I might be standing up here, but I think every one of us will agree that we never do it alone. If I did not have the love and the support of so many people, I wouldn't be up here, because I can't do it myself. I always said that I try to be a spark, you know, and try to ignite, you know, the enthusiasm for others. So I'll take credit for being the spark. But you know what? It takes a lot of kindling out there to keep a fire going. So I've had a lot of kindling. And I want to thank everybody, like I said, but I want to thank especially my family. You know, this is a great honor. But when I received the National Exchange-ite Award in 2003, I was blessed to have my sister there. She surprised me, you know, because my family lives quite a ways away from me. And of course, I go all over the nation, you know, for exchange, but they don't always get a chance to be a part of what I do in exchange. But it was such a surprise and an honor to have my sister there representing my family the night that I won that award. It was incredible. And I'm equally blessed to have my 4 nieces here. Her 4 daughters are here to help me celebrate tonight. So God bless you girls, thank you. It means a ton. But I have a bigger exchange family. And without the love and the support of the Lakes and Prairies folks, we've got Sharon and Don here representing Lakes and Prairies. And where is Annette and Brian? Oh yeah, Annette and Brian back there from my Moonlighters Club. But you know, folks, I might be from the Lakes and Prairie district, but I have another district that I'm equally proud of being, I'm not really an official member. I can't really say that. But you know, unofficially, it's my Lincoln Land family. God bless you. Every one of you. My Naperville Club, my Lincoln Land District. I'm not kidding you. You guys, you are family to me. And God bless you for being here with me tonight. It is an incredible honor. You know, when I look back on my journey in exchange and how I got started, I have an interesting story because, you know, when I was younger, I lost my dad. He died when he was only 44 years old, and I was only 11 years old. And so I became my mom's keeper or protector. And then when my mom got ill, and she suffered for cancer for about 10 years, I became quite a caregiver and to take care of her. And when my mom died, I felt I lost my purpose in life because I was centered on that caring. Although I had been, you know, involved in community service and stuff like that a little bit, but it was really caring for my mom. And that was in 1995. And when she died, and I didn't realize this, it was at our Moonlighters Celebrate Exchange when we went around saying, why do we join exchange and why are we still in exchange? And I had an aha moment because I didn't really realize until then that exchange gave me a new purpose in life. I may have been a caregiver for my mom, but now I had the opportunity to give back. And I became somebody that could care and help our communities be better places to live, to be able to give back to my community what my community had given me. And you guys aren't going to believe this, but back in high school, talking about journeys, we're going to go back a little bit. 150 years when I was in high school, we actually had a new winter beauty pageant. Beauty pageant, that's a joke. But I was asked to be one of the candidates for this pageant. I was Miss Evinrude, and I was the first runner-up in the Miss Snowfari pageant. And I can remember one of the questions they talked about is, okay, now as you venture out when you're done with school, what are you planning on doing with your life? One of the things that I thought about was I had great examples. Both my mom and dad really give back to the community. They got very involved. They got involved in service clubs. They volunteered in many different things. And that was definitely my goal, was to give back to my community. And I'm sure it was why I got at least first runner-up. The beauty threw me out. But the answer about giving back to my community is what got me as close to that winner as possible. But giving back to my community really, really was a passion for me. And I didn't realize that, like I said, until exchange found me. Exchange gave me a new lease on life. And when I look at our values, God, country, community, and family, that is what's deep in my heart. And that's what's really important. And helping others realize how important that is a mission. And I'll never, ever, ever give up that mission. Again, it's a journey that I started on 22 years ago, and it's a journey that I will continue on. I will continue to be an exchangeite. I will continue to believe in all of the principles that we have, not of just exchange, but of our country as well. And again, I thank each and every one of you for what you do for exchange, and I cannot thank you enough for all the love and the support over the years. And I look forward to a lot more of that love and support as we go forward. But God bless each and every one of you. And again, I'm humbled. This is a great honor. And I just want to say thank you.
At this time, Joyce Franklin will recognize our honoree, Howard R. Tinsley Sr.
Thank you, Tracy. I am honored today to recognize Howard R. Tinsley Sr., as his name is now etched on the granite pylons in the Court of Honor. I would also like to recognize Howard's son, Howard Tinsley Jr., who is with his father here today. Howard joined Exchange Club of Selma, Alabama in June 1976 and is currently a member of the Exchange Clubs of Eastern Shore, Prattville, and Florence, Alabama. He has served in many leadership positions and has participated in countless committees, and he has earned several awards at the club, district, and national level. Howard is a multiple new club builder and has recruited nearly 40 members through the years. He was appointed to the position of volunteer field representative in 2010. Howard is a graduate of Oklahoma State University with a Bachelor's of Art degree in journalism. He was later awarded a master's degree from Troy University. Howard joined the U.S. Naval Reserve. His military career includes 10 years of active service and 12 years as a reservist, serving mainly in Naval Air Intelligence, serving in Japan, Midway Island, Vietnam, and in several U.S. naval air stations. Howard later joined the American Red Cross as liaison with the military service personnel, and after serving 24 years, he retired in February 2000. Through Howard's work with the American Red Cross and Exchange, he has touched the lives of many people in the Selma and surrounding counties of Alabama. He has quietly made a big contribution to the needy of the area by generously giving his time, talent, energy, wherever he sees the need. Please join me at this time in congratulating Howard Tinsley for his induction into the Court of Honor.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Joyce, for that wonderful introductory. And since Paul and Katie took all my time, I'm going to be short. I'm honored and humbled to be part of the 2018 Court of Honor. Thanks to Nita and Mickey Stewart of Eastern Shore Exchange Club and my other friend in Dothan, Bob Arnold, for nominating me for this honor. Also appreciate the tremendous support of the many friends in Selma, Montgomery, Florence, Prattville, Mobile, Birmingham, and Irondale, and especially the support of the staff, past and present, of the National Exchange Club. I want to recognize my son, who's the favorite person in my life right now. My son Ray. He is the photographer. His talent has, behind the camera, has always made me look a little bit better than I am now, especially with Photoshop. He's helped me also with websites and Facebook. Thank you, buddy. Still amazes me to see my name engraved out there in the court. I thought for many years that the other engraving would be on the gravesite in Selma. It's amazing that I joined the Exchange Club in 1976. That's made 42 years. That's half of my lifetime. The first 20 years I spent working with volunteers in the American Red Cross. Thus, I was not able to attend the national conventions because National Convention of the Red Cross was at the same month. Well, when I retired in 2000, I was able to begin my journey with the good friends in Exchange. With my son Ray, we traveled throughout the country, visiting all the conventions and other activities within our journey. And we met so many great friends in our exchange. When you become involved in exchange, you meet so many wonderful leaders, but also just people who like to do something for their community. Ray also is able to attend these conventions too, since he had an able job that he can go with me and take some pictures. Now at 82, I'm enjoying a slower pace, but still active in Florence Exchange Club as being treasurer, but also I'm a VFR for Alabama, and also I am a division director. Even though I did move to Mississippi, I still call Alabama my home. In closing, I'd like to quote a portion of a poem from Grantland Rice, the famous sports writer. You'll find the road long and rough, with the soft spots far apart, where only those can make the grade who have the uphill heart. And when they stop you with a thud and halt you with a crack, let courage call the signals as you keep on coming back. Keep coming back, and though the world may romp across your spine, let every game's end find you still upon the battling line. For when the one great scorer comes to mark against your name, he writes, not that you won or lost, but how you played the game. Thank you all.
At this time, Matthew Wright will now recognize our honoree, Don Wright. Matthew?
Good evening. I'm honored today to recognize my father, Don Wright, in his induction into the Court of Honor. And I'll say when Dad asked me to introduce him, I could have swore he said I was supposed to roast him. And I let my mom read the first version of that speech, and she quickly let me know that wasn't quite what he meant. So I've got that one for another day if you're interested. Dad is a member of the Exchange Clubs of Murfreesboro and West Wilson County, Tennessee. He has and continues to serve in numerous leadership positions since joining Exchange in 1982. Dad has built multiple clubs and is an avid recruiter for Exchange. He supports the National Exchange Club Foundation, is a Berkey Fellow, and has previously served on the boards of the Exchange Club Family Center of Murfreesboro and of Nashville. Now, for those of you who have spent any time with my dad, you know he likes to talk a lot. He's always got a few stories to share. Growing up, I feel like I sat through more than my fair share of those stories. You've probably heard a few yourself. Dad grew up in the billboard industry. He started from the ground up, working with his dad. He climbed billboards and pasted the boards up himself. He literally grew up in the industry. So we've heard lots of stories about his time riding around and looking at billboards, and we've done it ourselves with him plenty of times. You've also probably heard many stories about his hometown of Mobile, Alabama. He is very proud to tell you that Mardi Gras started in Mobile, not in New Orleans. I'm sure you've heard that plenty of times. Growing up, I'll say that it felt like Dad's stories got recycled a lot. He didn't get a lot of new material, but that certainly changed. I had to roast just a little bit. But that changed the more he got involved in Exchange. We first heard about his adventures as a member of the Exchange Club of Murfreesboro. Some of our favorite family memories growing up were volunteering with the club's annual horse show. Dad worked the gate where the riders came into the ring. And for those of you that may not have been to a Tennessee walking horse show, I'll just tell you there were lots of colorful participants, and it was plenty of good stories that we shared over the years. As Dad took on leadership roles within the Tennessee District and eventually as RVP, we heard about his travels throughout the Southeast. This is also the period when Dad really became involved in the healing fields. Americanism is a big part of what draws Dad to Exchange, and this was a perfect project for him. We have heard lots about his travels throughout the U.S., and he always enjoys getting to visit a healing field. It's a very important project to him. None of us will ever forget the phone call we received in 2012 when he decided to let us know that he was running from the floor for national president. We were even more surprised when he won. You would not believe the mad dash back in Tennessee to very quickly find my mom a dress and also find her a flight to Phoenix, which there aren't a lot between Nashville and Phoenix, but we found her a flight and got her there in time for the installation banquet. And we were very proud of Dad. We quickly got on board with his theme of parading the spirit of exchange as a nod to his love of Mardi Gras. Dad's year as national president resulted in weekly stories about his travels across the country. He loves getting to visit with different exchange clubs and exchange-ites and loved telling us about it. I'll tell you, as a good Southern boy, he likes to eat good food, and so lots of his travels centered around food, and we heard lots about Rib Fest and opening the Coastal Carolina Fair. Those were a few of his favorites. And we were all very proud when he capped off his year with the first year of growth in 26 years. Dad won't take much of the credit for that. He always credits his district president class, which he's very proud of. I'll tell you, we still hear many of the same exchange stories over and over, but he's so enthusiastic, and we're so proud to listen every time. So thank you, Exchange, for giving Dad some new material over the years, and also for giving him a lifetime of memories. Dad, on behalf of our family, we're very proud of you, and please join me in recognizing my father, Don Wright.
I should have read that script first. First, let me say that Matthew is my stepson, not my natural born, but I have raised him, I guess, when you were 5, and so I consider him my son and am close. I have to start out by saying something, and that is that we do have a little bit of special honor today. Katie, Brenda, and I were all members of Parker's Patriots under Gus Parker. And so we have had that bond, so that means we've known each other for a few years, ladies, and moved on. And as I looked at these other people being inducted, Howard, I have to tell, I was working a golf tournament in Counce, Tennessee. To tell you where Counce is, you know how you go out to the country? Well, when you get to Counce, you've already gone past the country. But I am working a golf tournament for the Tennessee Fisher House, and Howard comes walking up. But I got to serve on the national board with Dan and Paul, and that was a great experience. But the other thing was, Lois, is that Buddy was a member of the crew in our class. I have to tell you, when I moved to Murfreesboro in 1982, my father told me there was 2 men I had to meet. One was a gentleman named Ben Moore, and the other was a gentleman named John Hood. Dad had known both of them through the Sales and Marketing Club of Nashville. And so I probably had not even settled in, and I get this phone call from Ben Moore who says, "Welcome to town. I want you to come and visit with me to the Exchange Club." And of course, my first question was, what is Exchange Club? And so he told me briefly, and I figured, well, it's a chance for a free meal, meet some people in town. So I went, and a few weeks later, I finally had to call on John Hood because he was the director of marketing of a local bank who happened to be one of our biggest customers that we had. And after meeting John and talking about business, I said, "Well, Mr. Hood, I'm new to town. I don't know anyone. How do I get to know people in this community?" He very simply said, "You join the Chamber of Commerce, you join the Blue Raider Club, which is our booster club of our local university, and you join the Exchange Club." I knew about Exchange, so I didn't have to ask, what is Exchange? So I decided to go back and visit the Exchange Club, and probably within a couple of weeks I joined, and that was in 1982. So if you see in the program, it says I joined in 98. I really joined in 82. But in 1986, I went through some personal issues, and I had to drop out of Exchange, and took a job in Nashville and traveled, and then I became self-employed and worked out of the house quite a bit. And one of the things that happened was I became lonely. Melissa had cats. We had cats. The cats didn't talk back. And if you work out of the house and you're by yourself all day, you start going a little bananas and you feel like that you aren't giving back to the community, a little bit like what Katie said. And so I decided that I would come on back to Exchange. Little did I know where my experiences in the Exchange Club would take me, to the new heights. Being elected as the national president to serve in 2014 was a fantastic venture with the crew while they paraded the spirit of exchange with passion and commitment. As Matthew said, that year we had a growth, record-breaking year in growth, and I got the credit. And folks, that made me feel bad because I didn't do anything. I really didn't. I worked to inspire my district presidents, and they're the ones who did all the work for me, my regional vice presidents and the board. And that brings me to this. I first want to say thank you to Joyce Franklin, Alabama District President, who initially nominated me and got it rolling where I could be into this position. Regional Vice President Kathy Mize, who took the ball and ran with it. And Kim Prado, who Florida District President, who then collected all the funds and made sure everything was taken care of. So today, to be nominated and inducted to the National Exchange Club Court of Honor is not only an honor for me, but it's humbling because I know other people got me here. I also want to say thank you to the National Exchange Club staff through all those years that I worked. They kept my back, they took care of me, and I miss my dear friend Mary Chris Skelton, who really helped me take the idea of parading the spirit and moving it forward. I do have to say I want to thank to my family, Melissa, my daughter Amanda, and my son Matthew, who stood by me. Many a time, as Matthew said, I would drag them to an Exchange Club event. Melissa made many a sacrifice, but she understood that exchange was my hobby, and she never complained even when I got elected national president-elect, except when I called her to tell her that and told her, honey, you need to be in Chandler, Arizona tomorrow night. Don't forget to pack, and we move forward from there. Yet I will have to say today I do wish that my dad, Fred, and my mother, Melba, were here to see this. As I said, when I left Exchange in '86, I went through a few things, and Mom died in '93. As I said, I became self-employed, and I wanted to get back active and give some things to the community and do stuff. And of course, I knew what Exchange Club stood for with community, country, and the protection of our children. But then my dad ended up being sick, and in 1982, Daddy passed away. But we were actually in Chandler, Arizona at the mid-year when I got the phone call on Sunday morning that Dad had passed away. And I say that to Dad, I wish he was here because Daddy always believed in community service as well. And I can tell you that many a time in my visits, I would go back from Tennessee to Mobile about every 6 weeks and spending time with Dad. And he would always ask questions. He would ask about John Hood. Daddy was also good friends with past National President Fred Herron. So it's kind of interesting how you have the interconnections sometimes in life. You know, today there are several names on the Court of Honor from Tennessee. And interesting that I will be the third from the city of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Of course, past National President John Hood, past National President Bill Ketron, and myself. And I will have to tell you, if my mom was here today, she would very simply be saying, boy, you're in high cotton. Ladies and gentlemen, my grandmother and I have said this many times from the stage, and that is that no day is over until it's a memory. So true today, this memory will live with me forever, ever. And thank you all for helping me with this recognition. Others helped me get here more than I did, and I appreciate that. I do request that we stay exchange strong and continue to parade the spirit of exchange with passion and commitment. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of our deserving honorees. Thanks to everyone who contributed to enable these fine individuals to be inducted into the Court of Honor. It is an honor and a privilege to pay tribute and testament to the lifetime of service demonstrated by these Exchange Club members. Each of them will always hold a permanent special place in Exchange. I now invite Scott to offer some parting remarks. Scott?
Thank you, Tracy. I leave you with this thought. Tomorrow's travelers may witness here a testimony of good and selfless actions wrought in the eternal stone of our earth and in the unquenchable fire of man's memory. To live in hearts we leave behind is not to die. Indeed, it is to live forever. Can we have one more round of applause for our Court of Honor inductees? Thank you for your attendance today and your commitment to exchange. Everyone is now invited to participate in the special celebratory dinner honoring our newest inductees, which will take place in the Metro 5678 Ballroom at the Detroit Sheraton Hotel beginning at 7 o'clock this evening, or around there. At dinner, we encourage you to please share stories and memories about our honorees with everyone. Buses will be leaving shortly. Buses will be leaving now. Thank you so very much, one and all.